In today's episode, I'm going to show you how to make a coil gun, which is this contraption there. This coil gun can shoot nails like this. So, if you want to make this, you will need one disposable camera, a switch from the home improvement store, another smaller switch, a battery, and a coil. But if you are going to be doing this experiment, be careful because it does use high voltage. Always wear rubber gloves when taking apart a camera. So this is the circuit we want. It's the flash capacitor, this trigger, and which sends the high voltage pulse to the flash tube. We're not going to need this trigger, and we're not going to need the flash tube. And we're going to have to cut off the capacitor and put it somewhere else. So now I have to glue the capacitor and the flash circuit down. Okay, so I just need to wrap a wire around here. Take this and put that there. Okay, now let's solder that connection. Okay, now let's get the next wire. Now let's solder this wire. And this wire. Okay. The capacitor is now wired up correctly. Now we have to solder in a little switch to switch the battery on and off. That's powering the circuit. So let's get some wires soldered. This could be tricky. Time to solder the switch in place. So I hooked up the battery so it can have the wires coming out. And I glued down that switch. Okay, now we're going to solder this. Okay, so we've already soldered the flash circuit to the flash capacitor and ran 2 wires going down there. I also got a switch at the home improvement store and built a coil out of some wire spool, and I made this frame out of popsicle sticks. Now we're going to solder the coil wires to the capacitor wires so that when you flip the switch, all the energy from the capacitor dumps into this coil. And that sends a pulse of electromagnetic energy to go through the metal object. That will cause the metal object to be pulled toward the coil. But, as it's only a pulse, because all the energy from the capacitor gets dumped into the coil, there's no force to pull it back, so it keeps on going and shoots through the coil. So let me just solder this. In the start of the video, you saw a different coil up here instead of this one, and you didn't see the popsicle stick frame. That was because originally I was intending this base for a different purpose. I also included a big switch that can actually take the current and voltage necessary to pass the signal to the coil. See, this switch, which is the one we were previously using, is not capable of doing that. Plus, it has a little LED inside that, so that LED probably will immediately sort it out as soon as the 200 volts were put across it. This is the flash circuit. This is what takes the 1.5 volts of the battery and transforms it into the 200 volts needed to charge up the capacitor. This is the transformer. The transformers, when sent in AC voltage, will produce either higher or lower AC voltage on the output. That other thing is a transistor. Here's another one of those. So if there's a current on this pin, then this pin and this pin will become one solid piece of wire. But if this pin is off, then these two pins aren't connected. So that's how you make a Coilgun out of some switches, a disposable camera, and popsicle sticks. Thanks for watching.